Which is a pre-university program which is taught to boys and girls aged 16 to 18 years old, 18 or 19, before they go on to university. And it is an equivalent to A-levels. I will explain the history of the International Baccalaureate and also why it is the fastest growing program for 16 to 18-year-olds around the world just now. It is growing more quickly than any other program in the world. And I will explain how it can lead to access to the universities of the United Kingdom, United States, everywhere in the world, because it is a global qualification. It is not just restricted to the UK, it is globally recognized. And I will explain some of the differences between A-levels and IB. First of all, what is the International Baccalaureate? What is the IB? It was first taught in 1968 in the International School of Geneva. You may ask, why Geneva? Because Geneva is the home of about 20 or so United Nations agencies, where a large number of families of diplomats and other people were coming from all over the world to Geneva. They had children who needed to go to school. They needed a program that they needed to study. And that is the reason why the IB started in Geneva. It has very close links with UNESCO, the United Nations Children's Organization, as well, because of that. And because UNESCO are looking for a curriculum that can be taught globally. It is a very international curriculum. Because of this global attraction, it is recognized by countries around the world. Over 200 countries will recognize the International Baccalaureate for entry to their universities. The reason why it is so successful as a program is because it is based on a set of values. A set of values underpin the program. They define it. And the people who devised the program, they started with the values and then they designed the curriculum. Whereas with A-levels, it was really a curriculum first. It was designed as a box of knowledge, so to speak, for A-levels that you learn. So when you study an A-level program, you study a set of knowledge, a box of facts. Whereas with the IB, you have a set of values that underpins it. And the values are based on something called the learner profile, which I'll explain about more in a moment. The learner profile defines the values. Because it is based on a set of values, it is a very consistent curriculum. It does not change. It adapts because we learn new things. But the program itself is very consistent. It doesn't change much. It is not subject to changing standards. Standards have been the same for 40 years. It's a very level program. The IB, in fact, have 3 programs. One for primary years, for young children, one which is called the middle years program, and then the final program, the diploma program, for the final 2 years. I am just going to talk about the diploma program. If you have any questions about the other programs, then I'd be happy to talk about that at the end. The people who devised the IB came from the outcomes of the Second World War, which had a global impact. They wanted to develop a curriculum that would stop boys and girls, when they grew up to be adults, to want to fight each other. It is a very idealistic program in its background. So the program was devised by academics from Oxford University and universities around the world and Geneva and United Nations agencies. And the first thing they did was they wanted to say, what are the values that people have that will mean that when they become adults, they don't want to start wars. So it's a very outward-looking program, a very international program. And the values they decided that all boys and girls should have would be that they should be inquirers. They should search for knowledge. They should want to find knowledge. They should be knowledgeable. They should be thinkers. They should be communicators. This is a very important part of the IB program. A lot of the IB program is talking, speaking, presenting, doing. Pupils who study the IB are very independent learners. They learn from within because they want to learn. So they are also principled and open-minded. Boys and girls who study the IB have to be open to new ideas and learn from them and reflect on them. They have to be caring. They have to know their place in the community and how to help others. They have to be risk takers. Now, that does not mean jumping in front of a car in the middle of a busy road. What it means is that an IB student will have to stand up, like me, take a risk. I'm taking a risk. I don't know what your response to will be. I may fail, I may succeed. And it is very much like that. So for an IB student, it could be taking up a new sport or some new activity that they may not succeed at, but at least they have tried. Because by failing, we learn. If you try something, it doesn't work, you learn. And this is a very important principle in learning for the IB. We are not asking boys and girls to do unreasonable or impossible things. We are just asking them to try a little bit more. And these are skills for life. As you go into life, in business, in the professions, whatever you become, you have to really try and challenge yourself. At the same time, you also have to be balanced. You have to take a holistic view of the individual. You have to, it's not all study, study, study. That is very important. It is also culture, the arts, sport, activity. You have to be a balanced individual. And the other important thing for the IB is you have to be reflective. You have to reflect on what you have done, how you can do things maybe better. Has it worked? Has it not? What can we do next? So reflection in our activities is very, very important too for an IB student. And so with these values in mind, the creators of the IB designed the curriculum rather than the other way round. Some curriculum are designed the other way round. They think of knowledge and then they do it backwards. Here we think of values and we do it forwards. The IB is now being taught in 3,500 schools around the world. That is predicted to go to 10,000 schools by 2020. More than 1 million students are studying the IB program. To give you an idea, there are 2,000 secondary schools in the United Kingdom. So it just gives you an idea of the size of the program. And the Diploma Programme is recognized around the world. Every university in the UK and all over the world. Why do they like the IB? Because of those values, IB students have a wider perspective. They tend to think broadly rather than narrowly. They are prepared for university life. They are working in the way that they will work in university. And the students who study the IB are interesting because they have a lot of experiences to talk about. And they have a journey to talk about as well, their learning journey. And universities like this. And legal and medical schools, they all like these kind of characteristics. And when IB students go on to do research studies, as many of them will do, for their degree or masters or doctorates or whatever, they already have that understanding of how to work. And they are good independent learners. And this is because of the values of the program. There is research evidence from this. The Higher Education Statistics Agency in the UK has shown that IB students are more likely to get the top grades for a university degree, more likely to go to UK's leading universities, twice as likely to study medicine and dentistry, more likely to go on to further study. The IB program, the Diploma Programme, has at its heart a core, which you can see in the middle, approaches to teaching, approaches to learning. And at the core, we have theory of knowledge, extended essay, creativity, action, and service. And this is the heart of the program. Theory of knowledge. How can I tell if somebody is telling me the truth? How do you know I am telling you the truth? This is a study that every student who does the IB has to do. They have to do an understanding philosophically of, is somebody lying to you? Is somebody telling you the truth? What are the ways of knowing? Every IB student does this. It's by achieving this understanding that you can learn so much more. If you understand that, then you can learn much more. You understand why you are learning, why are you studying. You also have to do an extended essay, which is a 4,000-word, fully researched piece of work on a study, an area that interests you. So somebody who wanted to study medicine could study stem cells or cancer and really get into an area of research and get a detailed understanding of it. Or it could be a piece of literature, Shakespeare or something similar, and really research a character and really get a good understanding there too. And this is very helpful for university. This is why IB students, when they go to university, they know how to work. And if they are asked for interview, they have a lot to talk about. The third core bit is creativity, action, and service. This is all about challenging the individual. Creativity. Somebody will maybe have to help with music or art or drama. It could be taking a musical instrument, doing something they have never done before, standing on stage. It could be creating a work of art, doing some sculpture or some technology. The action would be sport, involving yourself in sport. It could be a new sport. It could be working with other people. It could also be going on outdoor expeditions, mountain climbing, for example. Something getting out there. Again, nothing unreasonable, but just to challenge you a little bit more. The service, the third part, is service, is helping in the community in some way. So, for example, we have some Ukrainian students at St Leonards, the school I work at, and they go and talk in junior schools, because for us it is very interesting to have a Ukrainian student come and talk to our younger pupils, and that is a service to the community. So there is a benefit to the UK community as well as Ukraine. Now the curriculum, you have to do 6 subjects. You do 3 subjects at what is called higher level, which is the same as A level. You do 3 subjects at standard level. You have to do your Group 1 subject, which is your first language. The Group 2 subject is a second language. So for Ukrainian students, it would be English, but it could also be French or German or Spanish. And we also do languages ab initio, from beginning. So you could start to learn a new language from beginning. The Group 3 subject is individuals and societies, which will be history, geography, or economics. And we also do history of art and environmental systems and societies. The 4th group are the sciences, biology, chemistry, physics, or also environmental systems again. The 5th group is mathematics. If you are doing a subject like, if you want to go to law to do university, you would do mathematical studies, which is a Maths for Life course. Whereas if you wanted to do engineering, you would do higher level maths. So there is a range of courses for all interests. The 6th subject can be a creative subject, or it could be another language, or another science, or another humanity. So if you are interested in studying medicine, you would do higher level mathematics, biology, chemistry. You would do standard level your native language, another language, and the humanity. So you specialize in the subjects you need for your degree. So if you wanted to do law, you would do higher level native language, second language, and let's say history. If you wanted to do engineering, you would do high level mathematics, physics, and chemistry. If you have no idea what you want to do, then we have a range of subjects there that you can choose as well. So you have this mixture of breadth and rigor. I give you some idea of some university requirements here. It is a point system. You get 7 points for each subject. The maximum number of points you can get is 45. 42 for your subjects and 3 for your extended essay. So the maximum number of points is 45. If you get 45 points, you're a genius. There are more Nobel Prize winners than people with 45 points. For Oxford and Cambridge, the minimum offer would be 38, 39, 40 points. And then for a university like St Andrews or Durham, it would be 36, 37 points. And so it goes on. So every university will accept the IB. For some of the more higher demand courses, you have to get more points. And universities understand the IB very well. We will be able to guide your students to the correct course for them. I just have a number of quotes. I don't really want to read all of these out to you, but it gives you an idea of why the IB. These are from university departments who are saying why they like the IB. They like the IB because the students who do the IB are open, they're independent learners, they can study well. The students who do the IB, when they go to university, they do very well. They are very successful because they have those good learning habits set from the beginning. Again, the one thing is that the IB is a challenging program. It is a difficult program. You have to be an engaged student. You have to want to learn, but the rewards are fantastic. These are some quotes from students who have done the IB at St Leonards. We have a number of web links. I'm sure Business Link would be able to give you some of these links if you wanted them. This is www.ibo.org. That is the IB organization. Manageback.com is an online recording system that our students use to record their achievements on the IB. And UCAS.com is the British University's admissions service. This is one quote that I like a lot. It's by a man called Kurt Hahn, who is one of the founders of the International Baccalaureate. He had a lot to do with the IB program. We may not be able to change the world. He was talking about himself as somebody who had come through the war. We may not be able to change the world, but at least we can produce young people who want to. And it gives you a very flavor of the idealistic background to the IB. But at the same time, it's a very rigorous qualification.